Hey everyone, I'm Ben.
I'm Rom.
Welcome back to the One Piece versus 4K podcast where we compare the 4Kids anime to the Funimation sub, and throw in comparisons to the manga. We are back today for episode 9. Um, yeah, and before we get into that, I guess we'll just talk about what's been going on in our lives for a little bit. What's been going on with you, Rom?
Also the manga they just dropped a new chapter for the current arc. And then they're going on like a 2 week break, which kind of sucks, but because they introduced this new character in the manga and like there was a lot of hype towards what happened at the very end of the chapter. But they went on a 2 week break, which is kind of expected. I mean, even before everything that's going on right now, it's like they would always take a break after, I think, like maybe I don't know if it's once a month or once in 2 months, but they would usually take like a bye week. I don't know if it's every 3 chapters or every 4 chapters, but that's something that was kind of expected. But with everything that's going on, it's yeah, they did kind of say ahead of time that there'll be more breaks in between, and we had I think 3 straight weeks of chapters, and then I think it was three, could be four, but yeah, we're gonna go. They're gonna be off next week, and then they're gonna be back on the following week. So it's gonna be pretty exciting because like just the character that they introduced and like how they ended that chapter, and it's very exciting. And not only that, they're restarting the anime next or this coming uh Sunday, or sorry, Saturday. Like they're restarting the anime, so yeah, the anime is gonna start to drop back. Like they even tweeted out like a photo of the voice actors socially distancing themselves. So yeah, so that's something that'll kind of get us through this kind of bye week. Is we're looking forward to this new episode that's about to come out, and yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
What
good.
about you? Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I saw that they had that the anime was resuming soon. I think I saw somewhere on Twitter. Yeah, and I just thought thought of this podcast as soon as I saw it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as far as what's going on with me, my wife and I played and beat Last of Us 2. We just finished up last night. Um, yeah, we started on Saturday, or we started on Friday night. Uh, Played pretty much all weekend, and then we played some during lunch yesterday, and then about an hour to hour and a half after dinner, we ended up beating it.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I was worried because I really enjoyed the first one, and I wanted to play this one like kind of on my own, like I played the first one, but Laura wanted to see it too, so I ended up getting to play it enough. Um, just there's been a lot of big games that are coming out recently that we both want to play, and it's it's fine, but sometimes it's like she ends up playing more, and I get bored just sitting there watching, and I want to play some more too. But when I'm playing, like if I sit there and watch what she's playing, I really don't feel like playing it again myself because I already know what's going to happen.
Okay, okay, okay.
So it's kind of like one of those things. But yeah, I did get. I'd say I at least got to play a good chunk of it. At least I wouldn't say probably at least 40% of it I played. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it was pretty evenly split. But yeah, overall, I'm not going to spoil anything about the game because people will be furious. The one person who heard this podcast would be furious. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I'm still really unsure on what I thought about it. I think the first one's better. I don't think this one was pointless, but there's some weird things that they did that I feel like they could have changed things slightly, I feel like, in the ending and made it better. But it is what it is, I guess.
How long is the gameplay like? Is it one of those Assassin's Creed kind of thing where it's like, 70 hours of gameplay or something, or is
No,
it
no,
longer?
there's not a but there's like zero side quests. It's more of a story focused game.
Okay, okay.
So it was about 25 hours.
Oh, not bad. So it's not like open world.
No, it's not.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty linear. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, there's big areas where you can do a bunch of stuff, but it's not open world.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's kind of weird. Like there's so many games that are like I don't know how far back open world started, but it's like a ton of games. It's like they have to make it open world or they want to make it open world. But like yeah, I kind of miss playing those games that are like just story. Like, it's just one kind of like but
Yeah, I
yeah.
I'm there. I do like some open world games, but to me, I think I might have brought this up before on this podcast, or maybe I just bring this up so much. Whenever I play an open world game, there's too much to do, and I'll get sidetracked on the side quests, and
Mhm.
some of them will become annoying to me, and then I will just like I'll never beat the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I really am not a fan of open world games, but there is
yeah.
some exceptions.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is something that we kind of talked about. Like me, like, yeah, the only issue with me in open world games is that sometimes I will do a lot of the it's kind of even like a meme in like the gaming community where it's like we'll just go do like a ton of side missions and just like get so overpowered ourselves that we go and beat the boss to kind of unlock even more side quests. And like the
Yeah,
main story was just like everything a week. And then I'll kind of do that like I'll kind of do like a whole lot of side missions and then like I'll level up so high and then eventually I'll get to a point not like that I finish all the side missions but it's like I'll do enough where I just like I'll go off the next like part of the main story and then I'll just kind of continue on the main story and it's like once I finish the main story though it's so hard for me to like go back and do the side missions but that's more for personal on me.
yeah, yeah. Then that happens too to me sometimes. Sometimes I will just like at a certain point, I'm like, all right, screw this. I'm gonna go do all this work.
Yeah.
But then I'll come towards the end of the game. I'm like, I kind of want this to last longer. I should go and do more of the side quests, and then it's bad. Then I just never beat it or something like that. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can get sidetracked a lot, and I just don't. I just like there to be like a main focus, and I can't deal with choices.
Yeah. So are you gonna get the PS5?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I obviously I'll probably will get them both eventually, the new Xbox and the new PS5.
Hmm.
But I don't know if I'm gonna get it right away. I think there'll have to be a game that really makes me want to get it. But I think I I guess they're coming out with that new Spider-Man game this year. At least they're saying they are. So I know my wife will probably want that. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're coming out with a new Resident Evil 2, but I think that won't be coming out till next year. So I- I'll probably hold off till then. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it's kind of weird. Like so I am kind of like in some of the subreddits and like Facebook groups and stuff, they're talking about how like the new Xbox is it XS that's coming out. Um
Uh, Xbox. Dude, I can't even. The name is so bad. I can't even remember it.
Maybe it's
Xbox
like the.
Series X. That's what
Oh,
it's called.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, so yeah, I was like, a lot of people were kind of posting online on the specs between the PS5 and the new Xbox, and they're saying how like Xbox is actually has way better specs than PS5, but I don't know. Like, I'm not really like maybe I'm not as much of a gamer as I thought as I like to think I am, but like yeah, I just like I don't know. Maybe it's just like I just like I have a I have a PS2 and then I got the PS4, so it's just like maybe I should just kind of stick with the PS family, PlayStation family, and just get the PS5. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't really care about the specs. It usually comes down to there being a game on one that I want more. That's the one I choose. Um,
yeah.
and then I usually end up getting the other system like way later down the line when there's a price cut.
Yeah, like yeah, I basically like kind of budgeted how much I need to. I basically started kind of like saving up for it already, so it's just like yeah, I have it like yeah, I'm just kind of like saving like a little bit each month to kind of build up to that so that I can just buy
Biggest
it
pain
and
for me
just not
though
feel it
is
when I
that
buy
both
it.
of these new systems, they're gonna be. It seems like they're gonna both be way too big to fit in like a normal TV stand.
Yeah, that is something that's going to be very annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I so I'm pretty sure the Xbox Series X is going to play every single Xbox One game. Period.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
X can already play a ton of 360 games and then even some original Xbox games. But the PS5 is only they said they're going to play it will play a lot of the PlayStation 4 games but not all of them. And that is really pissing me off because I really
Mhm.
wanted to get rid of my
Okay,
PlayStation
yeah.
4. But there always has to be like a certain games that they won't like support. I don't know why they do this. It pisses me off though, and then I end up having just keeping the system, and then I just have too much crap laying around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like yeah, I think I have my PS2 at my parents' place and I have my PS4 here. I'll probably just bring my PS2 here and like just move my PS4 and my PS2 somewhere. Um and then yeah, just have the PS5 whenever that comes, but I'm not really sure. Did you hear what happened yet? Did you hear about Mixer?
dude, I don't know what the heck happened, man. Like seriously, how much? Like I just think it's weird that Microsoft sold it, but I guess Facebook offered such a huge amount that they couldn't turn it down. But it's just bizarre.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things where they kind of like just kind of touch their toes in the water or something just to kind of feel it, and then they just weren't kind of feeling it, and they just kind of like stopped. Like um, I don't really know any kind of like content creating platform Microsoft really has. Like
No,
um,
I didn't want it. I mean, like Twitch was already so established that like going to
yeah,
Mixer was just annoying.
I mean, like yeah, yeah. One, yeah, Twitch was established, but like there just wasn't any kind of like I don't really think that there was any kind of like content platform like Facebook has their they have all their video they have their video section where people post in video. I mean, there's kind of some shadiness to that to Facebook's like kind of video sharing section because you heard about like I think it was College Humor. Like you heard what happened to College
Oh
Humor,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so yeah, it was just like Facebook kind of cooked up some of the numbers, and then like yeah, College Humor. I think they eventually had to shut down or something because of uh, I think they just weren't generating enough business, and like they were kind of lied to stuff. But it's like it's like Facebook kind of had um at least something of like a platform where people can like post videos. I think even they even had some shows on there too to try to promote Facebook Live. Like I think if you know, you know Lonzo Ball and the Ball family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had like a Facebook Live show. I think Jada Pinkett Smith, I think she had some sort of like interview show on there as well. Um, and you know, I think they're kind of like streaming platform. Like I think some people knew of it. It just wasn't like, you know, going off, but like it's one of those things where you know, sometimes you would get in that like stream of like videos where we would watch like, you know, one of our friends would kind of share a video, we would click on that video and then it would like take us to the next video and the next video. And I would kind of run into some streams through that. But that was pretty much it. Besides that, it's just like, you know, whatever like a live stream that our friends posted just for fun, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be more like if, for instance, I wanted to stream uh something a game on Facebook, it would be more seamless if I just said, "All right, I'm streaming on Facebook." But I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, like it's just like you don't. Also, it's just weird too, in the fact that you don't want people to you you don't want Facebook tied to your to everything you do type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, for
weird.
sure. Yeah.
It's
No, I
weird.
definitely feel you. Yeah, it's just things. I think like Ron Paul, I think he's like the only other person I know. Like he's the only kind of like politician I know that kind of like posts all his videos on Facebook. I'm sure he probably has like a YouTube channel and everything, but yeah,
Yeah.
not only him, but yeah, so it's like there is at least some sort of like content creating section in Facebook and obviously YouTube that's kind of like their main platform. And same thing with Twitch, like you know, streaming is kind of their big platform. But with Microsoft, it's like there just wasn't any kind of like thing where you would upload some content on there for like mass consumption. Like besides, I mean, like obviously besides video games, but like you know, like there wasn't like you know, you and I couldn't record a video and like post it on somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Mixer was.
I don't I don't I don't know, man. It's just like like even has YouTube has such a weird audience. Like people stream on there, they live stream, but and they live stream games, but that's like even nowhere near as popular as Twitch. Like the only way people get like a ton of views on YouTube is if they already have a huge following on YouTube. No one like
Yep.
no one goes on YouTube to see people are playing a game live unless they're already like subscribed to them for their normal
Yeah.
basis. So it's just really weird.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And like the thing is, one thing, I don't know if this is a thing that's on like Twitch, but like one thing about like the YouTube streaming platform is like there are these like awful scammers. I'm sure you've probably seen them, right? On YouTube gaming.
No.
Dude, so yeah, there's these awful like I guess they're kids in their early 20s, maybe early mid 20s. Like to think they're not in their late 20s, 30s, but because of how young they look, I think they're in their like early 20s or something. But it's like especially with all the Fortnite events that like Fortnite does, they exploit. They're just like they constantly spam like you know they're doing this huge V-Bucks giveaway. Come here, they're like come to this channel. This live event is happening. It's like every other day some live like a live event happens maybe once every 3 to 4 months on Fortnite, right? But with these guys, it's like, hey, yeah, this live event is happening like literally every other day, and they're like, hey, you guys, you got to click it. And I think it's just really bad. It just gives the platform like a bad image, and like nothing's being done, which is what's
Oh yeah.
really
And then there's also a huge problem on YouTube too now with spam comments. Like
yeah
every single video we upload gets a comment from a bot.
yeah yeah. It's kind of weird. Like with that, I think one of the YouTube he's a YouTuber, but like he um he hosted like these Friday night tournaments. Like this is like early days of Fortnite where he hosted like I think it's like Fortnite Fridays or something. It's Keemstar. He even uploaded a video. I think it was on like a one of those like you know those YouTube story things where he just kind of scrolled down, and then yeah, it was just like these kids who were just like kids, young 20s, maybe teens. I'm not sure. It's just like constant like they're just like talking fast or like, hey guys, come click like and like come spike the. It was just really bad. I don't know if Twitch has that problem. I haven't really seen it on Twitch where people are scamming all the time, but like it's something that's on YouTube gaming and stuff. But
Yeah, it
I mean,
doesn't
with
seem too
yeah,
bad on Twitch, but it does seem like there is like a bunch of random bots, but
yeah,
it's like I don't know, it's like creepy. Like on Twitch, like they will never talk or anything. It's
yeah,
like they're just like in your stream. I don't know like what the point. I don't know, man. It's weird.
yeah. And I think with Mixer, I think what it was that they kind of like just tested it out for a year, and then like I don't think they were competing, like they weren't in the
Well, they
same
were
realm.
competing because they paid like the top streamers so much money to get to their platform just so people would jump ship, and like it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what they did. I think that was kind of what their last effort was. They were just gonna
Yeah.
see if these two guys would attract that audience, and yeah, they weren't able to. And then I guess they just wanted to cut their losses, and then they just yeah, all they can. Because yeah, it's just they don't have like a huge footprint in kind of like content creation platform, I
Yeah.
guess. So yeah, they sold, and then Ninja and Shroud got paid, and yeah, I think did you see some of the tweets?
I just saw that Ninja got like 30 million, which is insane.
Yeah, so like yeah, Ninja got 30, I think Shroud got 10. I
Yeah.
think it was 10. And then someone I think one guy pointed out that like from the day that Ninja started streaming on Mixer to yes to the day that this thing got announced, they kind of divided up that 30 million between those days, and they basically said Ninja got paid like 90,000 a day just to like sign it, like hit
Yeah.
play exclusively, and that's besides like all the donations and all that subscriptions and all that. So
It's insane.
yeah, um, but I think he's gonna go back to, I don't know if yeah, right now
I bet
like
you
they're
I'll
in
go back to
discussions.
Twitch.
Yeah, yeah, he could like kind of like bargain. He could kind of like have like negotiations with both Twitch and YouTube just to kind of like get a favorable deal with Twitch,
Yeah.
so that they don't take like a larger portion of his subscription fees.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
But I guess we should get into this episode.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Uh, okay. So I'll start it off, or I'll go through
Okay,
the summary. Please interrupt if there's anything that's out of the ordinary or weird.
yeah, sure, yeah,
Okay. So yeah, we are doing this a little bit different this time. People that are listening, I think what we were doing is just both doing our summary. But we noticed in these first few episodes, there's very little that's different. So it's like painstaking, I feel like, just to listen to us both like recap things. I might miss a detail here or there, but it's just I think if I was to listen to this, I'd be losing my mind if I'm hearing the same summary like over and over.
yeah.
Uh,
And I guess one thing we're kind of doing when it does get to a point where the episodes are drastically different, then we'll kind of like
go back
recap
to
the
that
yeah,
format. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
yep.
Um, all right, so yeah,
But
I'll
yeah, for
give
now,
the
yeah, we'll do that.
summary. Uh, I'll just start with the summary this time. Maybe next time you can do the summary. I don't know. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. All right. So yeah, the episode opens with that guy you see at the end of the scene from last episode. Some guy with a long nose, uh,
Yep.
running.
What's the title?
Yeah, I'll get to it. Running.
Okay.
Let me just finish. He's running through the town, expressing that the pirates are coming and they're attacking the village. Um, then we see the title card, and the episode's name is "The Teller of Tales" for the four kids. And your episode title is
The episode title is The Honorable Liar. It's like The Honorable Liar with a question mark, Captain Usopp.
okay. got it. Yep. So yes. So yeah, he's running, screaming, the pirates are coming, they're attacking the village, and then it just cuts to the next scene. Nami is talking to her crewmates that about, they can't keep going on like this. Luffy agrees and says they need more to eat than just apples. Zolo chimes in and says, yeah, they could use some juice as well. Uh, then Nami says she's talking about how how small their ships are, and Zolo says, yeah, their crew could use a little bit more people too. Luffy then says that they could use a good cook and maybe some fine musicians. Uh, Zolo is just confused at him saying that they should get some musicians. Um, Nami then says the next place they're going, they should try to grab a bigger vessel. I guess I have a question for you at this point. Does
Yep.
Zolo mention that he wants some juice?
Oh man, yeah, he just likes fruit juices, man. No, he wanted beer.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's obvious too because it you see him like guzzling down something and it doesn't look like juice.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, no, it's very similar here too. Yeah, Luffy says yeah he wants more meat, and Zolo says he wants more beer. Yep,
Okay, got it. That's why I suspected. All right, so the
yep.
next scene, the long nose. So I'm gonna call him the long nose until his name is revealed. It should be shortly, but yeah. So next scene, the long nose is seen running about and says he was only kidding. As someone throws a pot out of the house, then more people come storming out of their house saying they're going to rough him up and fry him to a crisp. Uh, this long nosed dude runs away as the villagers search for him. We then find him hiding in a tree, laughing and saying he's done the good deed for the day. As the village is so boring, and he's done something. And then all of a sudden, these three little kids show up and reveal themselves as his friends, I guess, and they reveal themselves as the Veggie Pirates. Uh, they are Each of their names are Pepper, Carrot, and Onion. Onion hadn't arrived yet. They're wondering where he is. Then we see him running up, expressing that the pirates are actually coming, and he's not lying. The long nose realizes it's true, and he runs off, saying it's time for a snack. He says that he needs to eat a snack at this time every day. Just comes up with a dumb excuse. The kid
Okay.
pirates tell him that it's his chance to become a real pirate, and that even though one of the ships has Buggy's insignia, that it's a small ship, and there's only three pirates on it. Uh, the long nose then reveals himself as Usopp, and the kids uh, follow him. Um, Next, we see Luffy and crew landing on shore as they talk about heading to the small village. Luffy continues to talk about the meat as Zolo appears to be exhausted. Um, then Zolo says, look out, as we see Luffy scampering around as if something is about to hit his feet. Nami then says they're shooting at them and to take cover. And then, like over the hills, a ton of pirate flags appear. This scene was really weird for me because, like, you just see like Luffy like jumping up and down, and
So,
yeah,
I got a question. So you didn't see any kind of like bullets or anything? It was just Luffy was just like stammering on the ground.
yeah. You don't see any. He's like jumping up and down like as he's dodging something, but you don't see any bullets per se.
So he's just like, but you see something kind of hit the ground though, right? Like it
Yes,
feels like
then you
something.
see like something hit the ground, like a rock hit the ground.
I think the scenes are pretty similar. I don't think they're yeah,
Okay.
no, no, no. I think the scenes are
Yeah.
similar. I don't think there's any censorship there yet.
Okay, so I'll get into the next part. So then Usopp shows up and says they better be scared, as he's the feared pirate and ruler of the village, and they should abandon any plans they have of attacking, as he has 18 million men to back him up. Luffy calls his bluff, as Usopp says, "How'd you know?" And at the same time he says he can't believe that Nami saw right through him. Nami sees three kids moving the flags and says, "You mean those three?" And we then realize that the bullets were tiny rocks that were being shot from slingshots. Usopp says he's known as Proud Captain Usopp, and his slingshot will not miss. Zolo draws his sword and says he doesn't have time for childish games. Usopp then says he's bluffing, as Luffy says he better choose. Oh yeah, so Usopp says, I don't know what I wrote here. So Usopp says he's not bluffing, as Luffy says he better choose wisely or he may lose his life. Usopp then drops his slingshot in fear, as Luffy reveals he was just kidding all along, and he just stole all that tough talk from his good buddy Shanks. Usopp can't believe that Luffy had known Shanks, and Luffy says, uh, "I probably know your dad too." Is his name Yasop? Um, and Usopp is like, "Wow, how'd you know?" They're then seen eating at some sort of like house or restaurant, as Luffy and Usopp are talking about Luffy's younger days when he knew his dad from becoming a part of Shanks' crew. Luffy reveals that Usopp's dad was a real deadeye and could hit any mark on a target. We then see him. We It then goes to like a flashback, and we see him shooting the core of an apple. Um, and his dad is just won't stop talking about his son. Luffy mentions, yeah, your dad just wouldn't shut up about you. He mentions that so in the flashback, Uh, Yasop mentions that he had to leave because he was chosen by the Jolly Rogers and he misses his son. Luffy says he's heard more about Usopp through him than he ever wanted to know. Nami asks Usopp if he can help him get a crew in a large ship, and he says no can do. Then they bring up the huge mansion that they had seen as they're coming walking through, the town, and all of a sudden, Usopp just runs away in fear. So next
Mm.
scene, we see he's at the mansion. Usopp, well, he's we see him at the mansion in a few. Next scene, we just see this young girl, um, and she's telling her caregiver that she wants Usopp to visit her. The caregiver reveals that that girl's sick, and her parents entrusted him to take care of her, and that Usopp gets her too worked up by his wildish stories. He walks away, telling her to take her medicine, and he's decided that she will never see Usopp again. All of a sudden, as he walks away, we see Usopp trying to break through the fence. As he climbs through and climbs up a tree, throws a rock to get the girl's attention. She walks over and she mentions he can't come in, but, you know, to tell her the tale from the window. So he tells her a tale of fighting a goldfish when he was 5 years old, like a giant fish, giant goldfish, the size of a ship. Um, and as soon as he docked his ship upon shore to fight the fish, he realized he didn't dock ashore, but he docked on a giant uh, goldfish turd. Um, we then see the three small pirate kids sneaking up to the restaurant, talking about how they are holding Captain Usopp captive and to be brave. The veggies burst in and ask where the captain is, as Luffy is finished. finishing his meat. The small kids think Luffy has eaten Captain, as Zolo notices too and says that's exactly what happened. They are terrified as Nami asks them, "Why are you looking at me?" Uh, the next scene, the Veggie kids are seen bringing the captain to the are bringing they're seen bringing the whole crew to the mansion as they reveal the captain is probably there telling lies. Um, Luffy and the crew are confused as the kids start to explain that he's there to tell the young girl stories since her parents have passed away about a year ago. He then reveals that she's sick and barely gets out of bed except to listen to him. The kids say the captain's a nice guy and that his stories have made her a lot better. Luffy then says he will ask the girl for the ship as Luffy performs a Gum Gum rocket and launches them through the gates. As Usopp is telling the story about them, as Usopp is telling the story, they're being launched into the air, but it just so happens he's telling a story about being launched into the air by a huge slingshot. And it's basically happening as Luffy's team flies in and, they hit the ground. And Usopp then says that they are the legendary pirate crew he's talking about. And then Luffy asks the girl for the boat if she has a boat. And all of a sudden, the caretaker shows up and tells them to leave. He reveals the mistress's name to be Kaya, and at least that's what I heard. And to leave, as he'll be forced to call the guards if they don't. And then this episode kind of ends exactly like the last episode, where we just see a new character show up. It's like some guy with long hair. I guess he has like gray hair, and then he has heart glasses. And then the episode ends.
Okay. I got a couple of questions for you before I start my part. Um, did Usopp have any special accent or sound, or did he just talk like a normal?
He didn't have any weird accent.
Okay.
Just a normal voice.
What about the butler?
I wouldn't say like none of the accents were weird. Like none of I mean, they might have been slightly different, but none of them were like really like outlandish like some of them have been beforehand.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, I just wanted to kind of get some of the accents out of the way before I go ahead and start mine. Yeah, because like yes, that's sometimes something that we kind of forget. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll kind of like do like an abridged version, I guess. Some differences. So the I think at the start of the episode we said that the title of the episode is "The Honorable Liar, Captain Usopp." Um, yeah, the episode was very much similar to your episode. This episode covers chapters 23, 24, and 25 in the manga. Um, One thing I have to mention is that there is a chapter 22, but the contents of chapter 22 hasn't appeared on the show yet. So that's something when we get to that section, I'll kind of talk about it then. But yeah, but for this episode, it's chapters 23, 24, and 25. But it's kind of weird. This is kind of one of the it's kind of one of the things where the anime and the manga is kind of all jumbled up. Because one of the difference is in the anime when when Luffy, Nami, and when Luffy, Nami, and Zoro meet Usopp for the first time, Luffy says, "Hey, I know your dad," but in the manga, he actually doesn't say it up until a little later. And he actually tells basically like Luffy doesn't like match two and two together so far yet in the beginning. In the manga, it's like he only matches the two and two together after like the scene that the episode ended on, there's going to be a little more that happens in the next episode. And what happens after those events is when in the manga Luffy actually realizes that he knows Usopp's dad, and the backstory are kind of similar. One thing I forgot to ask you: in the flashback, what does Yasop use to shoot the apple?
He uses a gun.
Oh, like a regular gun with a bullet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. And I'm guessing he just drank juice and was cheerful drinking juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say what it is, but yeah. But then he
Okay.
kind of like, pits it over Luffy's head.
Yeah, I think that was like a comical anime thing because like in the manga, like he just kind of like he kind of just shoves it in his face. He doesn't completely put it over his head, but
Oh,
I guess
okay. Got
that's
it.
more of a manga thing. So yeah, I guess from the start to end, so yeah, basically everything's kind of similar. The crew reaches the island. So in the beginning, Usopp runs away. The crew reaches the island, and then everything's kind of very similar to that. The three little kids. So in the four kids, you guys call them the veggies, right?
Hmm.
The veggie crew. So in the anime, they actually call them the
In
Usopp
the anime
pirates.
or
Yeah,
the
yeah. And
manga?
no, this is like
Oh,
both the anime and the
okay.
manga. They
Got it.
actually just call them the Usopp pirates.
But are they given
And
names?
yeah. The names are actually similar. They're carrot, onion, and I forget what the third one was. Um, I just remember carrot, onion, and I forget who the third one was.
It well, was it Pepper?
Yeah, pepper.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So then they're
Carrot,
the
onion, and
same.
pepper. Yeah. So yeah, the names are the same. The name of the pirate crew is a little different, with him being Usopp and or sorry, them being the Usopp pirates and him being the veggies and the four kids. Um, and yeah, so when Usopp goes to meet those three, it was Nami who pointed out that Usopp was lying, right?
I mean, it happened so fast, but yeah,
Huh?
she kind of did. Yeah,
Yeah, because like
yeah.
in the dubbed, and the subbed and the book, it was actually Nami who pointed out saying you don't really have 80. Oh yeah, it was also was it 18 million or 80 million?
I heard 18 million.
Okay. In the regular anime and also the manga, it was 80 million. Um, and yeah, kind of similar in both. Yeah, Nami sees that it's actually she basically points out that no he doesn't, and Usopp confesses that he doesn't, and then and then when Usopp first mentions that he has 80 million, Luffy's like, oh that's cool, but in reality he didn't have the 80 million. And then Nami, but yeah, Usopp said he still has like a lot of men, and then Nami points out it's actually three kids, and at that point the three little kids get scared and they run away. So that was all similar. There is a bit of a difference. At the restaurant, did the restaurant name say did the restaurant name say like Meshi, Meshi, or does it say something else? Does it say food?
I did not catch that detail.
Okay. Because like in the subbed and the dubbed, it's just Meshi. The even the English dub, they didn't bother changing or changing it to food. They just called it Meshi, which I think is Japanese for food.
Okay.
So yeah, I think in that scene, so yeah, there is one difference between the manga and the anime, in that it was actually Usopp who said that when they were talking about how they were trying to find like a ship and like get crew members and stuff, Usopp actually says, "Well, you got the right man to be the captain and stuff." He was trying to like putting himself out there as the captain or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then another thing that also happens, and then Luffy's the captain. He's not willing to ever let that go. But the other thing that happens is that so in the anime, it's actually Zoro who points out the big mansion at the top of the hill, but in the manga, it's actually Usopp who actually says that there is, if you guys want to get something, it would have to be at the big mansion that sticks out like a sore thumb or something like that. So
Mhm.
that was like a slight difference there. Yeah, there was that difference in the manga and the anime. Usopp doesn't actually like freak out saying, "Hey, don't go there" or something like that.
Yeah, that would make any sense.
Yeah, he just in the anime, he just I think he just saw that it was a certain time and he left. And then one other thing, so when the little kids actually enter the shop, they were actually thinking that like the pirates ate their captain or something.
Mhm.
And then the little kids were one of the little kid was like they're pirates, not cannibals. And then they go into the shop, and then just as they walk in, Luffy's just like, the kids are like, "Where's Captain Usopp?" And Luffy's kind of slapping his stomach. He's like, "Man, that meat was good." And they're just like, and Zoro says something that, "Yeah, we just ate your captain" or something. Nami laughs a little bit, and then kids get scared. They scream. They look at Nami, and they're like, "Cannibal!" And then she's like, "Why are you looking at me?"
Yeah,
um,
they never said cannibal.
oh, okay, 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 okay.
That's
Yeah,
why it was even more confusing to me. I'm just like, "Why is she even talking to them? Why are you looking at me?" Like, it didn't make any sense.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of this funny thing. Yeah, in the manga and the anime, they both just, yeah, all three of the kids just stare at Nami and yeah, call her a cannibal. Um,
That is
actually, in
such a
the
weird censorship, though, like, I don't even see that, like, being a bad thing for a kid to know. Like
yeah,
they might
I don't
not
know.
even understand, like, what that is, and, like, then what's the big deal? It's not like someone's, like, parent is gonna be, like, super pissed because they
Yeah, I
said the
mean,
word cannibal.
yeah, yeah. I guess, like, yes. I mean, this was aired in the early 2000s, so I don't know that kids would have been smart enough to go. Yeah, this was right around the time we were in elementary school or something. So I don't think we would have been smart enough to go into the computer and look up what a cannibal is. Maybe some kids ask their parents what a cannibal is. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah, I don't know,
um,
it's just silly, like, I feel like so many other cartoons would have said, like, way worse things, and there would have been, no problem about it. That's a really stupid censorship.
yeah. But in the manga, they actually in the English translation, they actually call her an ogre. Like they call all of them like
Oh.
ogres, and they like look at the similarly, like they look at her and they're like ogre, and then like she's like, "Why are you looking at me?" or something like
Well,
that.
see, if they were worried about saying cannibal, they could have done the ogre thing. I mean, and that wouldn't have been offensive.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they really should have used that instead. Especially since, like, so the manga, I think, yeah, I said this before, but yeah, the manga refers to Zoro as Zolo, probably
Yeah.
since they had it since the early 90s. So they probably, yeah, they really should have went with that translation because, like, ogre, that's not really like something like, I guess kids could see ogres like, eating people or whatever, but
Yeah,
um,
or even monster. You're a
yeah, yeah,
monster. Like, yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
And then I think the one last thing about the difference between for this episode, the one last difference is similar. The butler came in to Kaya's room, and Kaya requested Usopp, but the butler wouldn't allow Usopp to come in. But like when in the anime, you see Usopp actually climb up a tree, and he's like sitting on a tree talking to her. But in the manga, uh, her bedroom is on the first floor. Like it's
Oh,
Usopp's actually. Yeah.
he's just standing outside the window.
Yep. He's just kind of just, yeah. He's just yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, so yeah, he's just kind of standing outside the he's kind of, I mean, there is a tree there, so he just kind of leans back and sits back on the window and stuff. So yeah, those were really the differences that I saw. Obviously, I think the main censorship things that we saw between the two is obviously beer. Like Luffy says he wants me. Luffy says we need meat. Zoro says we need booze. Difference between the manga and the anime is obviously like Usopp's the one who actually points out the huge house, whereas in the anime it was actually Zoro who keeps pointing that out. Um, yeah, the restaurant is all pretty one to one. So yeah, it was overall a good episode. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
good introduction to this. Yeah,
yeah, and like you said, not much too different.
yeah, but I do have to say that like this episode, like the chapters, because of the way everything is organized, it's like the intro to this chapter the intro to this episode is in like I think chapter 24 20 I think it's like chapter 25. I remember this being one of the very first scenes of the episode, so I wanted to make sure I kept reading until I saw this specific scene. So I was really surprised that like yeah, this is actually like in the later chapters, I think chapter 25. And so that's really where that's really jumbled up, is that it's only later in the episode that Luffy actually really realizes who
Oh,
Usopp
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And yeah, I mean, he kind of delivers that same line as Shanks, where he says, when they first meet him, he kind of delivers that same line, saying, "Hey, um, once you draw it, you know," he says, "those things aren't for show; those are for action." And you know, he kind of says some sort of similar thing to what Shanks has said. So, yep, and makes the revelation that he knows Usopp's dad, Yasop, and yep, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yep. Well, it was. I mean, there wasn't too much. Well, there was like zero fighting, so it was a
Yeah,
lot easier
yeah,
to follow along with everything. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it was an enjoyable episode.
yeah. I think things start to pretty much pick up the next episode, but yeah, I guess we'll find that out then.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We will catch you next week for episode 10.
Yep, later.
Bye.